Alright. Hey there, YouTube. Dubs Rider here. And coming at you from the Spyder. And I wanted to do a kind of like a 500 mile review. I've had a chance to kind of put 500 miles now on the Spyder since we picked it up. And I think that whenever you're reviewing any bike, it takes a good 500 miles to kind of get a feel for it and get used to it, so that all the controls and stuff become second nature, or at least not second nature for me. It's a little harder for mine to become second nature just because I switch back and forth between the bikes, but I'm definitely more comfortable on the Spyder now after the 500 mile mark here. And I kind of wanted to talk about this as opposed to the 1330, which I haven't ridden the 1330, but from what I understand, it's got quite a bit more gumph than the 998 Rotax that's in this. But I really do like this motor. I think that I like the sound of that triple, but I really do like the motor in this one. It's got a lot of low-end grunt. It's pretty smooth at highway speeds or above. I really don't think that anybody would have an issue with it on the highway at all. Even on these back roads, it's not too bad. But I'm going to kind of talk about some of my likes and dislikes, and they might be model specific. The only gauge that I have as a comparison is the RT model here. So if you've got one of the other models, it's kind of hard to compare for me. I haven't ridden any of the other models, but what I find on this one, there's a few things that I really do like. I think the riding position is very comfortable. Your legs are very square. You know, you've got your straight down with your torso, and then your legs are kind of sitting not way out in front of you, but it's kind of like you're sitting in a school chair with your legs kind of straight down at a 90-degree angle. And I thought that riding position may not be comfortable, but it really is. And we've got the floorboards on this one, so you can kind of move your feet around a little bit, but that straight up and down or 90 degree bend on your knees, I found that it's not uncomfortable, I guess, for some longer distance riding, just because your feet are resting on that floorboard and you're not really putting pressure on them. So that's one thing that I really do like, is the riding position and the seat. The seat again is a little soft, but it's not bad at all. It definitely has enough comfort to last you on a longer ride. Another thing that I have found that I truly do like with these is the steering is not bad on it either. It's really tight. It's got a really tight steering on it, and so you steer with this a lot more than you would steer with a motorcycle, I would think, because a lot of the motorcycle turns and stuff like that are leaning, not necessarily turning the front wheels. But I've found that the more I ride this, the turning seems to be nice and tight, and that can vary from bike to bike as well. I really do love the mirrors on this bike. Compared to my bike, it makes a considerable difference just to have both mirrors I can see out of clearly, see clear back behind me, and it does make a considerable difference to have those mirrors, especially when you're going to maneuver at all, on the bike at all. So, and sorry, my headset keeps popping in here. So another thing that I really do like is the adjustable suspension. You can adjust the suspension up and down, and while you're riding, which is really nice, to kind of, depending on the riding style that you're riding into, whether it's real aggressive riding, or if you're trying to do a little bit more relaxed riding, you can adjust the suspension on this, which really is awesome. I love that. Heated grips are nice. The adjustable windscreen is nice. I found that I kind of like it at the down position. I would prefer maybe even to have it just a hair shorter so that I could see out over it a little bit more. But if you notice kind of my first few videos that I did on this, I had it all the way up. And really with it all the way up, you're in like a vacuum, which is really nice when it's on a cooler day. And you don't need as much airflow, but I found that, you know, when it's decent temperature out, I like to push that windshield all the way down, and for my preference, I would even have it just a hair shorter. So, just so that you get a little bit more air into the bike itself. So, let's see, what else do I like? The damn thing's comfortable. It really is. It's sure. I don't feel like I'm out of control at any point. It's very stable. Very confidence inspiring from that standpoint. I definitely have no issue with this bike from a comfort standpoint and confidence standpoint. It's really nice. I really like the exhaust note. The exhaust note sounds really good with that V-twin. It's a little bit lower sounding, and I do like a little bit lower sound on my bike, so that's really nice. The electronic shifting is definitely nice too. I find that I become pretty lazy on this bike, and you know, with shifting up, I don't ever shift down on this thing, even though you could, but I rarely do. I rarely shift down. I always just shift up. I let the bike handle the downshifting, which it does pretty well. The first probably 5 or 10 times that I actually took some decent rides on it, it was a little jarring on the downshift because it does it with some it's a pretty jarring downshifting feeling, but once you get used to it, you know when to expect it, and yeah, I've grown to kind of like the fact that I don't have to downshift at all. Makes you lazy, but I've grown to like that quite a bit. Heated grips are nice. The storage is amazing on this thing. You've got that frunk, I think is what it's called. You can put a ton of stuff up there, full face helmet and stuff. The trunk is where I keep most of my GoPro stuff. That's pretty awesome. And so I found that I really do like that. The storage is just amazing on this thing. So if you're planning any longer trips or anything, it's definitely nice to have that. And so I'm going to take a quick break here where I'm going through town here, and I'll come back in a little bit when I'm out of town here, and we'll talk about some of the dislikes. So back at you in a few. All right, welcome back, guys. Kind of coming out of town there. Find that it gets rather boring if I'm going through some of these smaller towns and there's only a lane or two, and you get backed up with traffic and it just gets boring. So plus I can't keep my mind on what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about some of the dislikes now about this bike, and touched on some of the things that I really do like about the bike. But there are a number of things that if I could change, I would. And firstly, I think that the bars are something that I would definitely change out. I would like a little bit higher bar. Kind of bring it up and back a little bit, and I know they make some aftermarket parts on that. So I'll have to see what my wife thinks about it, because really it is her bike, but I would prefer to have the handlebars back a little bit from where they're at right now. The second thing that I really kind of dislike about this, and it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, because on a cooler day, the heat that comes off of the motor on your feet is kind of nice to have that heat, and allows your feet to kind of stay warm naturally just through the bike. But on a warmer day, it gets pretty darn hot down there on your feet, and I think that it would be nice if they could find a way to reroute that. Now I think on the 1330 version of this, they may reroute the heat a little differently through the bike, so I think the airflow on that coming into the cooler is a little different, but it gets pretty darn hot, especially when you're in stop and go traffic on your feet, just because of the way the heat comes out of the motorcycle there. So not something that I really do like about the bike. The other thing is, and this is probably me just being a little simpler, you know, having buttons in two different spots and two different things is kind of strange, because I find myself, and this is just because I haven't probably ridden this bike enough yet to get used to it, but I find myself having to look at the button that I want to do, like whether it be the headlights down here, adjust the suspension, you know, the heated grips and stuff are down here, and I find myself doing this, trying to figure out where what I'm trying to find. But they've got like the fog lights and stuff down there. It'd be nice if they did a little bit more with this side here and kind of put another instrument panel on this side and just got rid of those down there. I think it would make it quite a bit more user friendly, I think. Trying to think what else I dislike about this bike. I really do like it. I prefer two wheels just because I like the sensation and the feeling on two wheels. But if you're going to take this out on a ride, a long ride, it's hard to beat the comfort and the amenities that you get on this motorcycle. But if I had to talk about it as an around town bike, it's not nimble. It doesn't feel nimble enough for me anyway. It's kind of big and burly, cumbersome. So if you're getting this bike to ride cross country, by all means, definitely. I think you're going to enjoy it, or even just longer, hour and a half long rides. But if I just wanted to kind of pop around town, I really don't see myself pulling this bike out too often, just because it's not, it's kind of big and cumbersome to maneuver. So I guess that's something to think about if you're into long distance riding. This is definitely a great bike to do that. But if you like to just kind of go out and joyride, short rides around town and stuff, probably not the bike that you'd want to go with. It's not really what it's designed for. The other thing that I really do find interesting on this bike is the gas mileage is just horrible. I find that if you baby it, you can get into the mid-30s. But I would have to say at this point, you're probably, I'm getting between 28 and 30, somewhere in there, 28 and 32, depending. And so I think a 6th gear would definitely help on the highway with gas mileage, but the gas mileage is just not what you'd expect out of a motorcycle. I think you could get like a 4-cylinder car and get better gas mileage than you do out of this thing. And there may be some things that I can do to adjust that, like the alignment and all of that kind of stuff, to make it a little bit more friendly from that standpoint. But as far as oil goes, that was just changed probably 600 miles ago, so I know it's not the oil change and stuff like that, because I had a checkup about 600 miles ago. So to me, the gas mileage is not something that's to write home about. But I really don't think that if you're buying one of these, you're buying it because it gets great gas mileage, because there are plenty of other options out there for that. Just something to keep in mind. And be stopping to fill up a little more often. Outside of that though, guys, I really do like the bike, and I think it's sharp as hell. It's a pretty bike. It definitely has enough power. It's nitpicky things that I would have with the bike. I would have to say that, you know, for my wife, she absolutely loves it, but if it was a bike that I was purchasing just for myself, I probably wouldn't purchase it just for myself. If it was something that we were getting for long distance rides and I was going to be mainly riding it with my wife, and I still had a motorcycle that I could ride as well, then by all means, this is definitely a nice long distance touring motorcycle to have. But I guess that's kind of my 2 cents on it now that I've ridden on it a little over 500 miles now. I find it to be comfortable, and all around it's a good bike. We'll see from a reliability standpoint how it holds up. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. So I'll put some comments below if you've got a Spyder and you have any thoughts or comments about what I've said, or any ways to fix the things I dislike about the bike. That would be awesome. I'm willing to kind of take some feedback on that. And yeah, until next time, guys, ride safe. You can like me on, or you can find me on Twitter, as well as my website and Facebook. So yeah, I'll chat at you guys later.